Okay, so today's notes for algebra are going to be on distributing or distribution. So the top just says, when expressions require us to use the distributive property and combine like terms to simplify, we distribute or multiply first, then combine like terms. So hopefully you remember that parentheses mean to multiply. So for example, we're looking at number 1. We have -3, and then those parentheses mean to multiply. So times x plus 4, and then we close our parentheses plus 5. So what that's asking us to do is to distribute this -3 right here to both the x and the 4. So typically we'll draw a line just to show, hey, I'm distributing that -3 to the x. So -3 times x is going to be -3x. And then we also do the same thing to the 4. So -3 times 4 is going to be -12. Remember that a negative times a positive is a negative. And then we stop distributing because our parentheses end. So right here, our parentheses end, so we stop distributing. And at that point, we just bring down this plus 5. We're not distributing the -3 to it, so we just have plus 5 still on the end like that. And now we go back to what we learned just a couple of days ago, where we just combine like terms. So you're looking for what are the terms that are like that we can put together. So we have a variable term of -3x. We don't have any other variable terms, so we're just going to leave that. So that's going to just be -3x. And then we have two terms that are just constants. So constants, again, don't have variables. So we have a -12, again, take the sign, plus 5. Both of those are constants, so we're just going to combine those. So -12 plus 5 is -7. And that's it on that one. That's as simplified as you can get it at this point. Right? So same process looking at number 2, we have a -8 on the outside of a parentheses that we're distributing to two pieces inside. Again, our parentheses in, so that's going to be a hint to us to stop distributing. And then we have another constant on the outside. So I'm going to start by distributing. We multiply first. That's order of operations. So we're going to do -8 times 2y. So -8 times 2y is going to be -16y. Then we do -8 times -3. That'll get a lot of people. Negative times a negative makes a positive. So that's going to be +24. All right, and then our parentheses in. So we stop distributing right there, and we're just going to bring down that -6 that we have there on the end. And then we go back to our steps from yesterday on combining like terms. So when we're combining like terms, we're looking for what things are like that can go together. So we have a -16y. I don't have any other y terms, so that stays the same, just -16y. And then we want to look at our other terms. We have a +24, that's just a constant. And then we have a -6, also just a constant. So we do that math right there. +24 minus 6 is going to give us a +18. So that's going to be +18. So our simplified expression here is -16y plus 18. All right. So I'm going to skip number 3. We'll try that one in class. Let's go on to number 4. So number 4 is a little bit different because we have two sets of parentheses. So actually we're going to distribute twice. So we're going to start with the -5. So we're going to distribute -5 times 2y. So that's going to be -10y. Then we'll do -5 times 4. So a negative times a positive, again, is going to be a -20. All right, and here is where people mess up. So right here, it is important that you see that this right here is a -6, right? It looks like just a 6 that you're distributing. We're actually taking the negative in the front with it. So we're going to distribute a -6 to a +3y. Let me undo that. -6 to a +3y is going to be -18y. And -6 times -8, negative times a negative makes a +48. And so now we go back to our combining like terms. So we're looking for things that go together, things that are alike that can go together. So I'll start with my variables. So I have a -10y. And then I have a -18y. Those both have a y. They're like terms, so I combine them. So we do the math. It says -10 minus 18. So let me say that again. That's negative 10 minus 18 is going to be negative 28y. Right, and then we want to look for our other constants that are alike. So we have a negative 20 and a positive 48. So negative 20 plus 48 is going to be positive 28. All right, so our final simplified expression for number 4 is going to be negative 28y plus 28. All right, so these other examples, we're actually going to go over them in class. If you want to go ahead and start on those and give it a shot, then we will go over the answers in class.